Hi, Jake.
Hi,
How are you,
Justin.
man?
I'm good.
It's so great to meet you, dude. Congratulations on the Thunderbolts. It is such a unique and emotional addition to the MCU, and I'm very excited that I have the opportunity to talk to you
Oh, thank
about
you.
it. Look, every director who joins the MCU, I feel like there's a personal connection to the story that draws them into this project. For you, what was that entry point for Thunderbolts? Was it the characters, a theme, or a particular idea that you felt like when you read this, you were like, I could do this story?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing was just the cast. I was like, I would do anything to work with that cast in any context. But then I feel like, once really getting into it and once Sentry was a part of the film, there's a friend of mine that I just found the things that he had gone through so kind of resonant with this idea of this, incredibly powerful superhero whose only real kryptonite is this dark side that comes with those great heights whenever that kind of Sentry side comes in. And we tried to
Right.
map this idea of sort of a duality between hubris and despair onto it and needing to find some balance in between those two things, where, it's more about learning to kind of accept yourself and be all right with being, Bob than it is about trying to achieve on those greater heights that we're used to rooting for within one of these films. And that felt like such an interesting flip on like where a superhero movie goes that it felt like you could really do something different with that.
Yeah, I could not agree more with the statement of flipping the script and kind of going a different direction with it. I think, another question I have here is around grief, actually. One thing that really stood out to me is just how this film handles grief in its own way. And it feels like this very quiet but powerful current that's running through this whole story. And it's shaping these characters, it's uniting these characters. You know, I guess using that as an anchor, how difficult or how easy was it to kind of find that leverage of being able to weave that into a Marvel movie, because I think everyone expects this to be something that's bigger and more superhero oriented.
Well, I think, what's so great about this world is they've created these characters that you care so much about. And they have, they've found a way, even in movies like Endgame, like there's rich humor in that. And then there's obviously like a lot of sadness. I think it felt like if we could take that even further, and when you have this group of actors and knowing when Florence is at the core of your movie, that you have someone
Mhm.
that can absolutely bridge that divide and take you to those places in a way that feels honest, it felt like it was worth going for. And then the rest was just sort of, I was coming off of doing this show Beef with one of my good friends, Lee Sung Jin, and he had this sort of unshakable faith when he was making that it was not a niche show, that exploring ideas of isolation and emptiness at this point was really something more universal than we might expect. And so it felt like, okay, let's put that to the test. Let's see if that can work on an even larger scale. But we had a reference point for being able to manage those disparate tones and bring them all together in one tent. And something I think about is like the people that I know that, including myself, well, I don't know if I think I'm very funny, but some of the people I know who struggle the most with the issues in this film are also some of the funniest people I know. And so it would feel almost dishonest to the characters and to the world to have it be flat or sad, that there needs to be rich humor amidst that for it to feel honest to the story that we're telling.
Yeah, it can't all just be, doom
Yeah,
and gloom. And I think
yeah.
that it balances. It's the personality that you find through humor and that and the grief as well. That just it's the mixing of the two. And I love that you brought up beef because you could see the layers of connection between it. Jake, that's all my time. I am so grateful for having the opportunity to chat with you and getting more insight. I think again, like I was saying, just Thunderbolts offers something really special. Beyond its sort of bold superhero approach, it's really just feels incredibly human. So thank you for all of that and everything you brought to this
Oh,
film.
well, thank you. I'm so glad it connected. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Have a great day, man.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.